For decades, the name Seagal meant one thing:
bone-crunching
Hollywood action. It was a brand built on Aikido, broken wrists, and blockbuster films that defined an entire generation. But the next chapter of that legacy isn't being written on a movie set. It's being forged inside a wrestling ring. This past Monday Night Raw, on August 12th, 2025, the wrestling world was left stunned when Steven Seagal's daughter, Arissa LeBrock, made a shocking and controversial debut nobody saw coming. Her arrival sent shockwaves through the industry, but to really get why this moment has everyone talking, you have to understand the whole story. It's a story about a dream that was shattered, a fall into darkness, and the incredible comeback that made it all possible. This isn't just another celebrity kid playing wrestler. It's a saga about fighting for your own name. This is the untold story of Arissa LeBrock's brutal journey and the dramatic WWE debut that just changed everything. Some people are born with a silver spoon. Arissa LeBrock was born with a target on her back, caught between two completely different, yet equally iconic worlds, to really get her journey into the brutal world of pro wrestling. You have to understand the sheer weight of the names she carries. Her father is Steven Seagal. For a whole generation, that name was a genre by itself. Through films like Above the Law, Hard to Kill, and Under Siege, he brought a terrifying level of real-deal martial arts to Hollywood. He wasn't just an actor playing a tough guy. He was a 7th Dan black belt in Aikido. And his on-screen persona was built on cold, brutal efficiency. His style was unmistakable. Minimal effort, maximum damage. He didn't throw wild haymakers. He broke wrists and neutralized threats with chilling precision. That legacy isn't just about action movies. It's about a deadly martial arts philosophy recognized across the globe.
But the pressure didn't stop there.
Her mother is Kelly LeBrock, the supermodel and actress who practically defined 1980s glamour in films like Weird, Science, and The Woman in Red. Arissa grew up where fame, glamour, and real-world combat were all just part of the family business. She was Hollywood royalty, a product of two larger-than-life figures. For years, Arissa followed a path that seemed to blend both worlds, becoming a successful model and even championing body positivity on the reality show Growing Up Supermodel. She had her mother's charisma and was comfortable in front of a camera. But underneath it all, a different fire was burning, one that connected more to her father's world, but was entirely her own. Arissa began seriously training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This wasn't a hobby. She became a dedicated and legitimate competitor, earning medals and building a foundation of authentic combat skill. It was this unique blend of charisma and combat that set the stage for a shocking career change, a leap into a world that would test her in every way imaginable. In December 2019, the worlds of Hollywood and pro wrestling finally slammed into each other. News broke that Arissa LeBrock was invited to a multi-day tryout at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. For any aspiring wrestler, that is the call. The Performance Center is a state-of-the-art dream factory, but it's also a meat grinder, a brutal ordeal designed to push athletes to their absolute physical and mental limits. Arissa's name alone made her a big deal. With her look, athletic background, and a famous name, her path seemed almost set for an NXT contract. But the world of pro wrestling is notoriously unforgiving. And then, disaster struck. After the tryout, Arissa didn't get a contract. Instead, she got a severe career-threatening injury that brought her momentum to a screeching halt. The dream that was so close was suddenly ripped away. The business she wanted to conquer had rejected her in the most brutal way possible. The door to her dream hadn't just closed, it was slammed shut. For most people, that would have been the end. Her journey was set to become a what-if footnote in wrestling history. The silence that followed fueled rumors, but it was really masking a period of intense pain and difficult recovery. Arissa later admitted she had fallen into a deep, dark place, saying in her own words, "I had become comfortable in the darkest, worst place in my life." Think about the weight of that. It's one thing to be in a dark place. It's another to get comfortable there. The dream had turned into a nightmare, and the story of Arissa LeBrock, the wrestler, seemed to be over. If you're finding this story of resilience as incredible as we are, and if you believe the toughest fights happen outside the ring, do us a favor and hit that like button. It lets us know you appreciate these deeper dives into the journeys that define today's superstars. But in wrestling, the best stories are always about the comeback.
While Arissa was in that dark place,
A lifeline came from someone who could truly understand her journey, the legendary Dustin Rhodes. Dustin, son of the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, is wrestling royalty himself and knows what it's like to be judged by your last name. He didn't see a failure. He saw an athlete with untapped potential and offered her a second chance. Not a shortcut, but a chance to rebuild from scratch. Arissa made a life-altering decision. She left California and moved to Austin, Texas, to go all in at Dustin's school, the Rhodes Wrestling Academy. The RWA is a world away from the polished WWE Performance Center. It's an old-school gritty gym where the only thing that matters is the work you put in. Here, she wasn't Hollywood royalty. She was a rookie, starting from square one. Under Dustin's mentorship, she began rebuilding herself. She worked with a personal trainer to strengthen her body, ensuring the injury that derailed her first chance wouldn't define her second. Dustin helped her merge her BJJ grappling, her father's Aikido-style counters, and her raw power into a unique hybrid style. Dustin was blown away. He praised her relentless work ethic in an interview on the Sports Guys Talking Wrestling podcast, noting, "She's come off of modeling in California. She's doing a great job, but this is only the beginning for her." He then made a bold prediction. Pretty soon, the whole world's going to be talking about Arissa LeBrock. The fire was being forged into steel. She had beaten the injury, the self-doubt, and the darkness. She was finally ready. The comeback didn't start under the bright lights of a major promotion. In March 2023, Arissa LeBrock made her official in-ring debut at a Rhodes Wrestling Academy showcase in Texas. It was an intimate setting packed with passionate fans. When she walked out, the transformation was undeniable. Reports from that night described her performance as a statement of intent, showcasing a cold, focused intensity. Her style was called brutally efficient, and she was victorious, finally stepping into the ring on her own terms. That debut sent ripples through the wrestling world. But things got even more interesting in August 2025. Just before her WWE appearance, Arissa made a shocking debut in TNA Impact Wrestling, confronting the champion and immediately sparking buzz about her future.
this put the entire industry on notice.
And that brings us to August 12th, 2025. Monday Night Raw. An unfamiliar, haunting theme song hit the speakers. The commentators were stunned as Arissa LeBrock walked out, not with the nervous energy of a rookie, but with the calm grace of a predator. She slid into the ring, and what followed wasn't just a match. It was a dissection. Arissa showcased her blend of BJJ and raw power, dismantling her opponent with cold, calculated efficiency. The crowd, initially silent with shock, erupted as social media exploded. However, the reaction was polarizing. While many were impressed by her dominance and legitimate martial arts pedigree, some fans online sparked a debate over her performance, making her debut instantly controversial. She had not just arrived. She had made a statement. This wasn't just a debut. It was the public shattering of a myth. A story of redemption playing out in real time. In the moments after Arissa LeBrock's controversial debut, the air was thick with shock and speculation. Her arrival was more than a good first impression. It was the arrival of a legitimate threat, an unpredictable wild card for the women's division. Her presence immediately shakes up the entire hierarchy. Established stars like Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Bianca Belair now have to deal with a new and unknown variable. Arissa brings a style founded in the brutal efficiency of her martial arts background. Something different from what fans are used to seeing. The potential matchups are mind-blowing. Imagine the clash between Arissa's submission-based offense and the raw power of Rhea Ripley. Picture the technical masterclass against Charlotte Flair, another star who knows the pressure of a famous last name. Or consider a showdown with Becky Lynch, who prides herself on her grit. Would Lynch's brawling style overcome LeBrock's calculated martial arts? The questions are endless. And that's what makes her so electrifying. Is she a future women's world champion? The potential is undeniable. Her legitimacy, look, and backstory give her an aura you can't manufacture. But who should her first real feud be with? Does she go straight for a champion to prove her debut was no fluke? Or does she systematically work her way through the roster? Arissa LeBrock's story is a powerful lesson in resilience. Born into the shadow of two icons, she faced a career-ending injury that would have made most people quit, and she simply refused to be broken. She didn't use her name for a handout. She used a second chance from a wrestling legend to rebuild herself from scratch, earning her spot through pain, sweat, and silence. Her shocking arrival on Monday Night Raw was the culmination of that quiet, 4-year battle. The whispers of failure have been silenced, replaced by the roar of a captivated, if divided, audience. She has proven that a legacy isn't something you're just given. It's something you build with your own two hands. Her story is no longer about what could have been. It's about what's next. She isn't just Steven Seagal's daughter anymore.
She is Arissa LeBrock, and her chapter is just beginning. What do you think?
Now that you know the true story behind her comeback, do you believe Arissa LeBrock has what it takes to be a future champion? Who do you want to see her face in her first major feud? Let us know your thoughts and dream matches in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the stories that are reshaping wrestling.